Good evening. My name is Chance Bowen, and this is the Paint the Town Red podcast. Today, we have some interesting news. First up, a troubling jobs report showing just 73,000 jobs added in July, with revisions wiping out 285,000 jobs added in prior months. This has Washington rattled, and it even gets worse. The government is claiming that they overestimated the amount of jobs that were created in the months of May and June by 258,000 jobs. Sectors like manufacturing lost approximately 11,000 jobs in July alone, and the majority of jobs created were in health services and education. Trump's tariffs plan to bring back manufacturing jobs is yet to produce anything, and yet the signs so far are not looking good. But for health services and education, it's not so bad. You know, the 40-year-old woman who has no kids, no husband, and yet somehow is a family marriage counselor, yielding a high divorce rate to couples near you. Well, don't be so quick to hate. They are getting to work, and they are the only thing keeping our jobs report from being in the negative. They are destroying families and annoying everyone on Instagram, yet our government is using all its power to promote and rely on these women. Who needs engineers? We can beat China with the girl who says she's destroying the patriarchy by telling her son that America is racist and women are enslaved, and the only way to fix it is to be gay. Hey, but look, they are kicking everyone's butt right now. On Instagram, they're getting more views than me, definitely, and more views than a lot of people. Maybe they are finally winning the social war against men. Not having kids, earning degrees, on their third divorce. Wow. America is so great. Too bad we will all be speaking Chinese and be under communist rule. But hey, at least they owned the evil white man, right? In response, President Trump took decisive action in firing BLS Commissioner Eric McGutfrey, I'm terrible with names, citing serious concerns about data integrity, a gutsy move to restore accountability, according to most mainstream media sources. Meanwhile, Trump also revealed plans to appoint new Federal Reserve governor, signaling a tougher stance on inflationary and renewed emphasis on economic patriotism. Thomas Massey saying that we need to end the Fed. You know, it is funny. The Federal Reserve is not federal, and it's not a reserve. So even the name is just very corrupt, right? Although jobs are down, the stock market is up. Markets rally amid expectations from the Fed cutting rates. You know, I listened to a debate last night about it was Thomas Jefferson and Hamilton, and they were arguing over states' rights and federal power. And Thomas Jefferson they were bringing up some interesting things about the financial currency that all the states use, and that's kind of a way to elicit the federal power is by giving them their own currency, which then all the states can then use. And Hamilton brought up a good point that states have different currencies and they're not able to get purchase things interstatewide. And Jefferson brought up that although that's a problem and we should have our own currency, the federal currency, the states should yield the power in how much value that currency has, not the federal government. And that's not what's occurring today. Remember, the Fed was created in 1913, so not that long ago. Just so happens the people that were against the Fed, the wealthy people who would actually have an argument in Washington, happened to all die. They were all in the same boat in the Titanic, owned by somebody who was in favor of the Fed and actually benefited from putting the Fed in. That was J.P. Morgan. Isn't that interesting? Not a conspiracy theory, just fact. Those are facts, not suggesting anything. Markets are breathing easier this morning, unlike me. U.S. stock futures turned positive following last week's steep losses. Futures on the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ climbed modestly, fueled by speculation of September rate cut by the Fed. What triggered this shift? Weak labor numbers have raised hopes for looser monetary policy. Analysts now see a greater than 85 to 90% probability of a cut next month, and even more easier by the end of the year. In corporate news, Palantir is expected to post robust revenue growth, 40%. Of course they are. And I sold all my Palantir. I had Palantir at the beginning of the year, I'm not gonna lie. And then after doing more research to find out who owns them and thing, I said, it's not right. I don't feel like I should be owning Palantir. It's not something I don't really believe in. But if you own Palantir, look out for the reports to be coming out. While Boeing is facing some issues, their workers are on strike, and this may further drag their performance. This comes after they were offered a 20% increase in pay and $500,000 bonuses, but workers claim this is inadequate to meet their demands. Maybe the news got out on how much they're making. That's probably what's going on. They're making so much money, and the workers are going, hey, man, you guys are getting rich. In foreign affairs, the Trump administration is turning up the heat. Steve Witkoff prepares to visit Moscow this Wednesday ahead of a Friday deadline for Russia to accept a Ukrainian ceasefire or face new sanctions. In Kiev, President Zelensky is pressing for tougher actions, meeting frontline troops, urging the U.S. to flex more muscles. Meanwhile, internal corruption charges and intelligence successions expose Russia-linked plots inside Ukraine. Now, here's the headline that's shaking global nerves. President Trump has ordered 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to be repositioned near Russian waters, a move prompted by a provocation remarks from Dmitry Medvedev commenting on potential nuclear escalation. The Kremlin downplayed the maneuver, calling it a routine submarine patrol pattern, but cautioned against inflammatory nuclear rhetoric. This is unmistakably signaling walking the tightrope between readiness and restraint. At the same time, reports suggest Russia is considering deploying its advanced Oceanstrick hypersonic missiles to Venezuela, a decision reportedly backed by defense officials in Moscow and discussed openly in Russia media. While nothing is finalized, sources say on camera, if Russia plants hypersonic missiles in Venezuela, we're starting at a Cold War flashback. In the Western Hemisphere, the potential for near immediate strike capability over U.S. territory could reshape strategic deterrence instantly. Anyway, that is it for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hope you don't get sick like me. And have a great day. This is the Paint the Town Red podcast. My name is Chance.